Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talks with Lakeisha. I am your host, Dr. Lakeisha James. I am sure you all have seen my guest on several movies and commercials. I am excited to have a conversation with Jay Elliott. He has
Hey,
appeared in Tyler Perry's Miss Governor, Beauty in Black, just to name a couple. Jay Elliott is a Louisiana native and U.S. Air Force veteran. He began his
mm,
acting career in a local theater, then eventually began touring the Southeast in various stage plays along with notable celebrities. Welcome, Jay Elliott. How are you doing today?
thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. I appreciate you having me on.
You listen, now you know we go back
We do that. We do.
years ago. We were on like almost two films
Yeah,
together, and that's how we
yeah,
met. I
yeah, yeah.
remember when. I remember when. But it's so great to have you here today.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Glad to be
So
here.
we're gonna get started. How long have you been in
Okay.
Atlanta?
I've been in Atlanta 7 years now. A little over seven. A little over 7 years.
7 years. So when
7 years.
we first met, I want to say was it 2022, 3, when you was playing that about to play that character Crumb. You had just came to Atlanta?
What? Yeah, that wasn't that 19? I thought that was
Was it?
19.
Was it? You know what? Time flies when you're having fun, so it may have been. You
Yeah, that was one of my first projects here. One of them. Yeah. Yeah, it might have been the second one, but yeah, it was one of the first.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We were
Yeah.
glad to for you to be in Atlanta. Why did you
Yeah.
relocate? Why did you relocate here?
Well, I came here for acting.
I knew it.
I was doing theater, in San Antonio and around Texas, Dallas, Houston, Austin, Killeen area. And we were traveling within those areas, and then I got on a traveling play that moved
Mhm.
around, and I was seeing and learning from other actors, and I would, it started to hit me. Hey, you can really take this serious. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so I just, took some time off work and thought about it for a minute because I was working before I went on tour. That was before I went on tour, and I thought about it, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go for it. So. I started lining up everything, getting my house in order and all that kind of stuff. And then the tour happened, and I was like, all right, I had quit my job. But I quit my job and I started going back to school. So let me
Oh.
fix that. Went back to school, got my degree. In the meantime, I was researching how I was going to do this, and did I feel comfortable doing it? What did I have the passion enough to go ahead and go for it?
Mhm.
So I did, and while I was in school, I was doing different things, different plays, and so that's what happened. And I eventually, I think our last stop with that play in the Southeast was Atlanta, and and so I was like, all right. And I after we finished, I rode around looking for apartments, because
That
I knew,
fast.
yeah, I knew, I knew the tour went on for I think 6 months, but it was like we were doing dates, 1 or 2 dates a month. You know what I'm saying? And so I had already moved from San Antonio to Louisiana because that was already the plan. I
Hmm.
moved back home to Louisiana to my mom's, and then I was touring, flying out, a couple times a month. So yeah, by the time we got to Atlanta, it was probably July or whatever of 18, July or August of 18. And I just started to look around. That last day I drove here instead of flying and started looking for apartments and found some spots. And I was like, all right, went back home, packed up my stuff, and all my furniture and stuff was already here because I'd already had it shipped to Atlanta. It was just in storage. So
Being proactive. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Decision was made. Once I made the decision, it was like, all right, you got to do it.
I
And
love
I
it.
wanted to. It wasn't, I wanted to do it, of course.
So that was a no-brainer, huh? I
No
love it.
brainer. No
I
brainer.
love it. I love it.
And I didn't even know I had one partner here. He wasn't in the industry. I didn't know anybody else. So me getting on that Chrome project, old boy just hit me out the blue. He just hit me on Facebook. It's like, hey, da 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 da. I, I was like, who are you? First of all,
Wait, first of
I
all,
mean,
who
we
are you?
became we became cool, but yeah,
Mhm.
Mark just hit me up. Hey man, I got this slide for you. Da 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 da. We've taken pictures today. Can you come? And I was like, that quick?
That
You know?
quick.
Oh yeah,
Listen, when destiny calls you, it is time to show up. I
yeah,
love it. I love it.
yeah.
So in television, your credits include recurring roles on Netflix series The Waterfront. And I just looked that up. I've seen it, but I haven't saw it. But I'm going to take a look at it. It's a series.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look it out. I'm gonna catch that. Which was number one on Netflix top 10 for several weeks, and Tyler Perry's
Yeah.
Miss Governor that also landed on Netflix top 10. You also have
Yes.
co-starred in roles on Found, which is found on NBC and Netflix. Beauty in the Black.
Yes.
Now listen, I caught Beauty in the Black the first
Yes.
season and I'm hooked, okay? And I think the second
Yep.
season just came out on the 19th. Not the
And
second
it's all
part of the second season. Part two, second season just came out. So, I gotta catch it. I gotta catch up with that. Murdo, the
it's
death in the
already
family.
number one.
I I already know. Anything Tyler Perry puts his hands to, it's gonna be gold. And then of course you're part of it. Like you're
Yeah.
phenomenal. I've seen you working there before. Like I said, we've been on set together. So listen, you'll
Right.
be in gym, telling you. And you can find that on Hulu and The Summer I Turned Pretty on Amazon Prime, to name a
Yes.
few. Now, was being an actor like your first choice, or would you want it to be something else?
Well, when I retired from the Air Force,
Mhm.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, to be honest. I mean, the natural transition most people do is go into the civilian sector doing
Mhm.
the exact same thing that they did in the military, right? So I was
Mhm.
IT. It's money in IT.
Always.
Um, right. So, but I didn't really like IT. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I did it because it was my job. And then when I got out, I got a job in it and I made good money, but I wasn't feeling it, and it was something about, I wanted to, my grandfather used to always tell me, you retire from the military, you do what you want. After that, you can do what you want to do.
Mhm.
So that was the thing. I was trying to figure out what did I want to do, and everybody was telling me I'm crazy. You leaving IT? What? Da, 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 all that money. Like, hey, man, I want to do what I want to do now,
Mhm.
and it's been a tough road, to get to this space, you know what I'm saying? But it's worth it, you know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying it. But yeah, I transitioned into IT in the civilian sector, did that, and then once I got introduced into stage plays on a dare or whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
um, after the first performance, I was like, this is it.
This is
After
it.
right at curtain call, I stepped out there and I was like, this is it. So at that time, I had to try to figure out, and I was married at the time,
Mhm.
we're divorced now, but I was married at the time. So I was like, how can I do this? And I didn't know how serious I was. I just felt good about that moment,
Mhm.
and I was like, I want to keep doing this, and at the time, probably was just plays, keep doing plays. But,
Mhm.
somewhere in there, I got divorced and I was like, all right, it's just me now. So I'm gonna go for it you know. Yeah, and so everything started to work out, and the man above started to put things in my face. Hey, you need to put people in place in my
Mhm.
life. Hey, you need to go over here. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. And I did my own research and stuff as well, and yeah, things just started to make sense and lead me in the right direction. So.
I love it. I love it. Now, how did you know that acting is what you were supposed to be doing? Like you just said, that everything fell into place. I know you say you had that moment, like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do this.
Yeah, like I said, it was that moment when I walked out for curtain call. I'm gonna give you the scenario. Okay, I'll give you the whole story. I
Okay.
just told the story. So a friend of mine, Trey Elias, shout out to Trey Elias. We were out one night drinking, having a good time at a
Mhm.
lounge, and this lady who's now a great friend of mine, Tracy Palmer, was sitting off to the side, and we just walking through the lounge, drinking and whatnot. And he walked up to her and he's like, "Hey, Tracy, put us in one of your plays." And I talking about us. Who you talking about us? You know what I mean? Me, I had no desire, to be honest.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Why are you saying us? What is that? I ain't got nothing to do with that. But I went ahead and went down with it, because I didn't think it was gonna come to fruition, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So probably like 6 months later, um, yeah, about 6 months later, she found me on Facebook.
Look at
At
that.
this point, Trey has relocated. He's moved here to Atlanta. I'm still in Texas.
Mhm.
So she hits me up and she said, I have a role for you. And I'm the type of person I try to keep my word. I do keep my word. Let me not say try. I keep my word. So I was like, all right, since I said I was going to do this, I'm going to do it. I said, but I need a small role. I don't want no big part. So anyway, she's like, I got you. I got you. So I go to rehearsal. for this small role.
Hmm.
Starts to tell me, it's an interesting story, my bad. I know it's taking a while, but
Oh, so listen, take your time. I want to
okay.
learn. I want to hear all about it.
So she starts to tell me, as I'm going to rehearse, it's a guy that's missing. So she was like,
Mm-hmm.
Jay, can you read for this guy? Because he's in Arizona right now, but he'll be back in time for the play. And
Hmm.
so I'm like, okay, great. And so every rehearsal, I'm reading for this guy, reading for
Hmm.
this guy. So we got about 2.5 weeks left before the play.
Hmm.
And at this point, I done got familiar and I'm, with this material. And so she pulls me to the side after rehearsal one day and she's like, Jay, the guy's not coming back. I'm gonna need you to, play this role if you could. And at this point, I done got close to the lady, Tracy.
Hmm.
We've been working for the last couple of months or whatever. And so I'm like, man. And it was a pretty extensive role. He was
Hmm.
in the play throughout. And so I was like, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it for you. And I was nervous and I was like, all right, I gotta bear down because of course I don't want to be embarrassed. So I gotta know my lines. I gotta and I had got familiar with the material. So I remember the first performance, I was shaking like a leaf. Like before the curtain opened, because we had to open the scene, I was shaking. And I remember one of my scene partners, she was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine. Just let me." This is my first time performing anything since I was probably in church as a kid.
Hmm.
So after a couple of lines, I got comfortable and I was in it throughout. So I performed, and then the curtain call, like I said, I got that feeling. I was like, "This is it." So after that, we go back, we have our little out brief, and then she pulled me to the side again. And
Hmm.
she was like, Jay, you did a great job. You handled it. I know I put it on you at the last minute, but you did well. She was like, but I want to tell you something. There was no other guy.
What?
This was always
That was always,
and
yes! I love
I
it.
was mad and happy, mad and happy at the same time because I was like, no, you didn't trick me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if she hadn't have, I wouldn't have felt what I felt at that moment. So
That was
that's why I say
beautiful.
everything, the man above kind of was aligning
Oh
things, you
my
know what I'm saying?
God.
So that wasn't supposed to happen, you know what I mean? And
Won't he do it? I told
uh,
you everything was just lining up perfectly for you.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, you got
So
tears in my eyes, Jay. That's beautiful. There was no other guy. It was only
no, it was
you.
only me. That was the only, I guess she knew that was the only way I was going to take because I told her in the beginning, I need a small role
Yes.
because I have family, I have this, I have all this stuff going on. And I was working, I had a regular job and everything. I was like, I can't. And yeah,
Wow.
so she got me. But yeah, that's one of my good friends, Tracy. She
That is
always
amazing. Shout out
always
to
give her
Tracy.
credit.
Shout out to Tracy. I
Yeah,
love it. Oh
yeah,
my God, you got tears in my eyes. I love it when someone is living in their purpose.
yeah, yeah.
Truly
And,
are
and
living in your purpose.
yeah, and everything just started to align from that point on. People started to come in my life and tell me, do this, do this. I remember a lady hit me on Facebook and told me, you need to go to this. She had came to one of my performances.
Hmm.
Her name is Cynthia Anderson. Let me give her a shout out. She told me, you need to go to this. And I was like, what is this? And she was like, it's an acting workshop in Houston. You need to go. And she had already seen me perform. So I went, and then that just opened the world up for me as far as getting into, you know, transitioning from plays to film. It
Hmm.
was David E. Talbert he's a Hollywood director. It was his
Yes,
workshop.
I've
Yeah,
heard.
it was his workshop. So he just opened that Hollywood or the film side of it up to me because I was just used to doing plays at that point. And then then he talked to me about agents and all these different things and what everybody needs to do and so yeah, it just continued to open up, man. And people
I
just,
love it. That is beautiful. That
yeah,
that that's
thank
amazing. That's amazing.
you, thank
That's
you.
oh my God. I'm so happy for you. Like I said, I remember when we first met years ago and just look at you
Right.
doing amazing things right now.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
trying. Staying focused.
You're doing
Staying
great.
focused.
But you have principal roles in the national commercial campaigns for Chevrolet, Food Line, and DirecTV. I
Yes.
I was doing something and I saw you on the DirecTV, the football commercial.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, is that
That's
Jay?
right.
I was like, look at there. Oh my goodness. Now, I know you mentioned a few times since you started sharing your story. How does it really feel pursuing something that worked out for you? Because it seemed like it's working out for you.
It feels good, you know. And the thing about it, I think a lot of times in life we don't find our passions or we
Mm-hmm.
don't pursue them. You know what I'm saying? Something we're passionate about, or we had that fear. And, it took, it was later in life, post my military career, I found my passion. And I was like, all right, let's go. And I dedicated myself to it and focused. And it feels good. It feels good when things start to happen. And, you just pray for patience. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
nothing happens overnight, even though some people out here thinks it happens overnight. Nothing. And I understood that. The maturity in me understood, the mature
Mm-hmm.
me, I say, mean to say, understood that. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't come in this thinking, I, I just got to Atlanta and Tyler Perry gonna call me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Which I hear a lot of people think that, but nah, I waited, and I took my time and I prayed and did, just followed my road, doing that with Mark, with you guys, and
Mm-hmm.
everything just continue to work on my craft and trained. I went to classes all during COVID. I was training.
So nothing
While
stops you. I love
everybody was
it.
at home, chilling, I was
Mm-hmm.
in class the whole year. Via Zoom, of course, but yeah, I was in class for probably a year and a half straight. Just
That's
learning and
amazing.
working, and I was like, I'm gonna make the best of this time because I got to catch up because people been out here for a while that
Mm-hmm.
have already trained and already doing work. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta try to catch up and use this downtime wisely.
Mm-hmm.
While the industry is down, I could, catch up with them, per se. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
no
that's what
one can do it like you, Jay, though. So, you were called to just do what you're doing. It's a lot of actors out here, and no one can
yeah,
do what you do. You were called to do exactly what you're doing, though, because you're the
yeah,
only one that can do it.
yeah, true.
I love it. I love it. Now, you led and executive produced the film Forgotten on Tubi. How
Yeah.
did executive producing that film feel to you?
It was cool. Me and my guy Gerard McKenzie,
Mhm.
we worked together. We talked about it. He came to me with the film, and he wanted me to lead it. And so, we discussed everything, talked about it, and I just wanted to have a bigger part. I mean, I know I was the lead in it, but I wanted to have a bigger part in the behind the scenes of it, so
Mhm.
I could learn the different things. And I learned some things. I mean, it's an independent project, so
Mhm.
you don't get the you get the scope, but it's limited. I'll say it like that. So I learned quite a few things. He taught me a lot of stuff, and it was awesome. And I'm gonna do it again. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do it again eventually. Actually, we wrote. Well, I wrote. I wrote a part two to that, and hopefully we're discussing it now. So hopefully we'll get it done at the end of this year, by the end of this year. So I'll be in that EP seat again, knocking it out. But I just wanted us to take our time and get it done and have the resources and everything to make it happen. And
Mhm.
because a lot of times, sometimes trying to do things too fast and we don't capture everything that we need to capture in film, in some of the independent films and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I wanted us to take our time, get it done. And even still, we still, missed a couple things, but nobody know that. So
Listen, only you guys know that. But
right,
see,
right.
when I see it, I'm like, I see it now. I see what Jay was talking about. I love it. How does it feel working with some celebrities that you actually grew up with?
Man, it feels great. Yeah, it's I'll give you Tisha Campbell. I worked with her and I was overseas in Japan when Martin was out, right?
Love that
And
show.
yeah, and this is pre-internet, all this stuff. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So we used to get VHS tapes shipped to us until I think eventually we got some type of cable over there or whatever. But all of our friends, my buddies, we get in the room and watch the Martin tapes and have something to talk about the next day and all that kind of stuff. So that was a big deal for me. You know what I'm saying? And she was such a sweetheart. And we talked for a good little while, and then it was time to shoot. But she was super cool, and for me to be such a Martin fan, you know what I'm saying,
Listen.
and work alongside of her, that was pretty cool. But it's a lot of more, celebrities. Winnie Raquel Robinson, she was the director on that. So I used to watch
Okay.
Steve Harvey's show on that particular movie that was Operation Aunties. Hope McCallany, it's a lot of them, that I've worked with. Hell, sitting in the room across from Tyler Perry, you know what I'm saying?
That's question. That question coming up. So just be prepared.
I was like, yo, there he is, like 10 feet over there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's amazing, fortunately I lived in LA for a period in my life, so I don't freak out when I see celebrities, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But it's always good to see and and chop it up with them and stuff like that and learn from them. I'm always learning from them, I'm
Of
always picking their brain.
course.
I'm always watching them work. If I can, I try to have lunch with them and, and sit and talk and gain as much knowledge and I can from them. Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, just like me, I'm an entrepreneur. It's like I love sitting in the room with people that has been where I'm trying to go, where my desire to
exactly,
be, because they've been
exactly,
there. You know,
exactly,
for me, I
exactly.
have to take the scenic route. Like you said, some things happen overnight for some people, some don't. And
Right,
the ones that are, truly chosen, we have to take the scenic route. It takes time
right,
for us to get to where we need to be. But when we
right.
get there,
Yeah, and you learn along that route. That's why I don't mind it.
yes,
It's like I'm learning so much along this road that it's amazing. You know what I'm
I
saying?
love it. I love it. So you have strong supporting roles on The Post, which is on Amazon Prime, Operation Aunties, which you just spoke about on All Black, and most
Mhm.
recently Double Scoop, which was a Hallmark channel. Double Scoop, is that about ice cream? That's what I thought. Like, oh, that Double Scoop. Let me get it with Double
It
Scoop.
is, it is, it is ultimately about ice cream. Ice cream
See?
plays a part in it, but it's about two ad agencies, two top ad agencies in New York. They send two of their, I'm gonna say agents,
Hmm.
down to compete for this account in Alabama. And I think it's Alabama. No, it's not Alabama. I'm not going to say the name because I forgot. But compete for in this small town. I'll just say small town. Compete for this account in this small town, and it's a dairy farm that makes ice cream. So these two individuals come down and they're competing for that account, and it's a nice, lovely Hallmark story. I'll say that.
It
Yeah.
sounds
But
like
yeah,
it.
ultimately it's about ice cream because that's what they're
Yeah.
competing about. But it's a whole bunch of stuff,
It's a
prior.
whole bunch of stuff. I love it. I love it. So what's next for you, Jay? I know you got probably some new roles you're working on and maybe some executive producing, some directing. I'm sure. I'm sure.
I mean, I want to direct someday. I will in Forgotten Two. I don't know if that's the working title. It might be called Isaac, but I will be doing some directing in that. I will be EPing, of course, in that.
Mhm.
As of right now, I'm just auditioning. Beauty and Black, Part Two,
That's my
uh,
show.
Season Two, Part Two just came out, so I'm in that. So my phone has been blowing up like crazy.
That's a
All that
great
stuff.
thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm taking all of that in and just working, just auditioning, working, still writing, and stuff like that. So I don't have anything particular on the table. I got a couple of projects in the can that I'm waiting to come out. But other than that, just
I love it.
working,
I
you know.
love it. It has been a pleasure. I know it's been a moment since we spoke and we saw each
I
other, but it
know.
was such an amazing story that you gave me today. Thank you so much for,
Thank you
because I
for
know you're a
having me.
busy man.
Hey, I'm trying to be. I'm
Busy
trying to
man.
be. Trying to be. But thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Well,
I
thank you,
appreciate
Thomas,
it.
for sharing today on Talks with Lakeisha. And again, I know you win, but now you're doing so many amazing things, touching so many different screens and hearts and impacting all around the world. I'm just so here for it. So here for it.
I
Great
appreciate
times, I tell you.
it.
Well,
And
thank you so much.
congratulations on talking, Lakeisha.
Well, thank you. This is our third season, so I'm so completely stoked that I was able to bring you in for the third season. And I
That's
said, I
awesome.
got
I
to get
appreciate
with him. Because,
it. Yeah.
on social media, we follow each other. I see what you're doing. I
Right.
say, Oh, he's doing some amazing things. I remember when I said, let me get him on the show so we can have a conversation. So
Hey,
thank you
anytime,
for
anytime.
sharing,
I'm
for
here.
saying yes. Now with these watch parties and things like that with these movies, don't forget your sister now. You hook me
I
up so I can
got
come be in the space. So I can be up front and center. So I know him. I know him.
you. Okay, I
I know.
got you. For sure, for sure.
Well, thank you again. I am your host, Dr. Lakeisha James of Talks with Lakeisha, where you get real conversations and real information. We'll see you next week.